Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel, StateFuse. We're here another video today. Here to fuse your mind with other things you may or may not be aware of. We're talking about fitness. We're talking about world politics, things that are going on, the government is doing to us. They have been doing to us for quite some time now, and I think we're sick of it. So I'm going to be touching on a bunch of topics, and essentially I want to get your guys' feedback on the things that I talk about. I'm going to be touching on relationships, which I feel like we all struggle with that. Relationships are kind of one of the number one things that humans have issues with, connecting with each other. Now, I personally feel like connecting with another individual, it's simple for me. However, the reality is we add all of these things into the mix and into the situation that just it complicates it, you know? It makes it very, very complicated. So I'm going to be talking about things that can get that tangled situation untangled. I'm not a therapist. I don't have a degree in psychology or anything like that. I'm a regular human just like you. And I just have a different perspective on life itself, which I believe everyone has a different perspective on. And I'm just here to pretty much share that perspective. So, dealing with relationships, and then also spirituality. Spirituality is another big thing that us as humans have developed into this. There is a God, there isn't a God, we are gods. It's a bunch of fallacy and BS, you know. And so I'm going to be touching on that as well. I meditate myself, and I get deep into myself, my surroundings, the planet that I'm on, other people. Well, not deep into other people, but it's the vibe you feel when you're around other people. All of us are connected. But again, I'm going to be touching on all of these things. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm currently in Texas. I'm in Texas, and I just moved here during the COVID pandemic, which I personally feel like is a scam to me. Just something that was created out of all the Chinese or the Asians were eating bats. Come on, they've been eating bats for years and centuries, you know. Why hasn't it come out then? Why hasn't this so alarming and dangerous virus came out then? Why hasn't it come out then? Why now? Why 2020? And if you think about it, every single year there's something new. Almost every 3 months there's something new that is hitting the news, that the government is coming out with something like, oh, this is going on, that's going on, from politics to health, food administration, racism, prices, taxes, like it's a lot of stuff they come out with every single year. And I honestly feel like it's a method to control the population, to control the masses. If you control the masses, you stay on top. And I feel like that's what it's about. Now, there's a lot of theories out there about Illuminati this, Illuminati that. I personally don't think it's just on Illuminati, or it's on the 13 hierarchy, the families or whatever, the Rothschilds or so on and so forth. Like, I don't think it's just on them, you know what I mean? I feel like some of them play a part in it. However, I personally feel like there is a being that people aren't aware of. I guess you can not necessarily call it God, but an entity that we cannot necessarily touch or see. It's intangible, but the government actually has contact with them. So I personally feel like them being in contact with that being, they're receiving orders, they're receiving information, they're receiving all of these things, and they're just taking it and bringing it to the people, but they're not bringing it directly. They're bringing it in their own way. They're bringing it in a way to keep us down and keep us oppressed and keep us stressed out. We can't even develop within ourselves. I was having a conversation with an individual yesterday, a couple days ago. I'm always talking about this. We don't have the space in our minds to develop within ourselves. We just don't. We're so focused on building income, pleasing others, being in control, pleasing ourselves, staying stress-free, what others think about us, how to be confident, how to be more attractive, how to be a better person overall, sun and moon rising, zodiac signs every single day, what's my reading for today. It's a lot of stuff that take us off course of our original selves. Has anyone sat there and thought to themselves, who am I really? Where did I actually come from? Am I of this planet? Am I not of this planet? Am I someone with the purpose to do this or to do that? How do I even figure out what that purpose is? These are things that run through our minds, but it's only for a brief moment and it passes on to something else. Oh, did I brush my teeth this morning? Oh, I'm gonna be late to work. I got this report to do. I gotta go to school. I gotta get this money. I gotta look out for Jim, Bob, Sally, and Rich. You know what I mean? I gotta look out for all of these people. It's so much stress on our shoulders. We don't have the time to sit there and think to ourselves deeply about what we actually are, where we actually come from, what we can actually do for each other and also ourselves. How far can the human race actually elevate? How far can we actually elevate? Is it the self-driving cars? Is that the maximum elevation? We aren't necessarily designing that thing. We can take credit as a whole to say, okay, yes, I'm a part of this society, the American society, the Indian society, the German society, whatever the case, wherever you are in the world right now. I'm a part of that society. However, I wasn't necessarily there. We do not have the knowledge to create an LCD screen within a vehicle. We just use it. We know how to use it, but the actual schematics and the details of it, what is it? What is it? What are those details? If we had those details, if everyone had those details, we would be a lot more smarter. We would be on a very higher plane. We would be developing things way beyond what we currently have. And again, the government is oppressing us so much. They have this knowledge. They have these things. They have tech that you see in movies. They have these things. They have these things. And they don't give it to us. Because if they gave it to us, they would have less control. It would be more like, it's kind of like Firefox. You use the Firefox web browser. It is an open source web browser. You can edit it if you choose to do that. You can provide ideas to the community. Now, we can still provide ideas to the community, but it's on a very structured level. It's very minute, and it's acute. It's very narrow. It's directed. You know what I mean? We don't have the breathable, the room to actually create 100%. We have to go through all of these stages and all of these steps in order to get heard on a certain level, just a minor level. Now, I don't think it's bad that we have that structure. I think that structure is good in some ways, in form or fashion, to where it keeps the negativity out. But when it comes to something that's very powerful, we've seen this in history, things that can actually change humanity for the better, they shut it down. They shut it down 100%. Now, why do they shut it down? Again, they want to stay in control. They want to stay at the top where everyone else is at the bottom. Now that, to me, I just feel like it's unfair, and I feel like we as a people need to come together and start to realize a bigger picture and not be so selfish. We live in an interdependent world. This planet is interdependent. I cannot survive without you being here. Without you being here, I cannot survive. Even if I was a business owner, I need to employ. So I can't build a business without other people. It's just not possible. So I kind of dislike it. I'm not gonna say hate. Hate is a strong word. I kind of dislike it when people say, "Oh, I'm independent. I got this on my own," so on and so forth. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because you need other people to either buy a product, to do something for you, to sell you something, so you can invest in it, or so on and so forth. We just need each other, and that's just the nitty gritty of it. Like that's just what it is. We can't avoid it. I feel like the sooner we realize that as a whole, we'll be a lot better off. A lot better off. Instead of trying to segregate each other, that's essentially what we do. We segregate each other based off of the things that we do, what we know, how we view each other, how we judge each other, and it's understandable. You know, you feel like you're more of a bougie person, or you're more of a laid-back person, so you want to be around more calm individuals. That's understandable. But when it comes to a collective consciousness, a collective society, that essentially, you know, we need each other. Essentially, we do. There's no way around it, you know. But with that being said, the government doesn't want us to be like that. Because if we were more connected, we would see all of the BS and all of the things that they push in our face and try to make it seem like, oh, we're trying to help you out. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not trying to help us out. You just want to gain more and more and more and more, and then keep gaining more and more and more. When there could be a system put in play to where everyone benefits 100%, from the rich, the poor, the middle class, and everyone has a roof over their heads. You know, there is a system that can be put in place. They just don't want to do it. I feel like actually we can develop that ourselves. We can put together a forum, or even just on this channel, we can put together something that can essentially change the world as we see it and how it operates as a whole. I feel like we can do that. It's very, very doable. Anything we put our minds to, we can do. And that is the truth. That's the 100% truth. Now, how we put this together is a whole another topic. That's a whole other video. But for now, I just kind of want to focus on, sifting through the BS that's put in front of us, and also the BS that we put in front of ourselves. You know, we again don't have that time to sit there and meditate on ourselves, you know, where we actually come from. So instead we cling to the nearest thing that's pleasurable for us. When it's pleasurable for us, it doesn't necessarily cause us pain, and it brings us comfort, and it's more friendly. We attach ourselves to it. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what we are. It's kind of like you see a character on a TV show, a movie, or whatever the case may be, and because we like that character, we see something so powerful and so good about it, we want to be like that. So we attach ourselves, we try to formulate our minds to thinking like those characters, but the reality is those characters aren't realistic. They're not realistic. So to call yourself this or call yourself that or mold yourself, which most of humanity does, we mold ourselves based off of the things that we see. When we like something, we mimic it. We mimic what we like. how we learn. We do the thing ourselves. We see someone else do it, and then we do that thing ourselves. Thus, in turn, once we do it, we see it from our own perspective, and we put it together, and we learn, and we grow from that. However, I feel like we can still decipher those things that are unrealistic. It's kind of like putting a horn on a horse and calling it a unicorn. Let's remove the horn and be the horse. Let's continue with the driving force and drive ourselves to be our better selves. Let's continue to do that, just without the horn. Because unicorns don't exist. So why would you want to be a unicorn? I know there's people in the world that believe themselves to be animals. How is that possible? You don't live in a forest. You don't live in a desert. I mean, maybe some people do. Saudi Arabia, or Africa. There's some places where people live in dry lands, dry area. But however, you weren't made that way. We may have some animal instinctual behaviors. However, we're not necessarily animals. We have a different intellect. We think differently. We view things differently. Our speech patterns, all of that. But I will say, animals they're smart. They're very smart. If you really analyze a bird is very, very smart and intelligent. Now, the only reason why I'm saying this is because the animal kingdom, I feel like they've got it more down pack on how to connect with each other and how to be there for each other, have a actual decent leadership, and actually move forward as a whole, regardless of what's going on around them, other humans tampering with their environment. Regardless of that, they know how to operate within their environment peacefully. They have a set of rules, all this. They have these things. Now, animal scientists, they study these things, they know these things, But for us humans, for some reason, we want to be so unique and so different, even though we're so alike, that we put these things and these facades in front of us, and we let that lead ourselves. We let that lead us into relationships. We let that lead us into jobs and into careers and into family matters and just daily life. It destroys the naturalness, the organic connections. It destroys that organic feel, that genuine structure between us. It gets rid of that. It gets rid of that. It's like you have a natural picture, a natural state of being. Once you start adding things to it, yes, it changes the form. It gives you some creativity. There's nothing wrong with creativity. But once you change it so much, the more you change it, it's going to go from the original state to less and less and less and less and less, and until it's no more recognizable. It's unrecognizable once you change it so many times. And I'm just simply saying, be creative, be yourselves, just without the facades. That's all I'm simply saying. It's very doable. We can still teach each other and grow from each other and help each other on so many different levels. We can still do that. I feel like it would be a lot more effective if we did it without the facades. The facades just creates a completely different reality for each other, not only ourselves. It just creates a completely different reality, and that reality just gets in the way of what we can actually truly be as a nation, as society, what we can actually grow to. It just gets in the way. That's just my opinion. So the thought for today that I am fusing with your state of mind. The thought for today to fuse with your mind is be less selfish. Get rid of the facade. Really talk with yourself. Really get to know yourself. And really think about where you really come from, how you were made, how you can get back to your original selves. Is the current self really you? Or is it just something that you want to be? Is it just a dream that you want to be? What is your reality? Dissect your reality. I'm not saying, tear it down to it's like, all of this is fake and like I'm full of it. And I'm not saying that at all. I'm just simply saying dissect your reality and really contemplate on what you are as a human being first. You're a human first, and then you are yourself. So as a human, are the things that you are currently doing, things you're currently eating, that you're having intentions on, that attracts your attention, are these things that are needed? What's the basic needs? What's needed? Write down a list. I want you guys to comment below the things that you need versus what you actually want. Write those down as well. And then start knocking things off the list. Go with the things you need first, and then keep a few of the things that you want, because things that you want still matter. Humans still have a desire or a need to fulfill a portion of your desire. Not all of it needs to be fulfilled, but again, that's a whole nother video. But a portion of it does need to be fulfilled. So keep some wants, but focus mainly on your needs. So that's my thought for today. My name is Solomon, and this is StateFuse. I just fused your mind with a different perspective coming from myself. Try to go out there and fuse with other people. Fuse your perspectives together and see what comes about. And really think about also what we can do for each other to help this planet and help us be better people towards each other. It's more than just racism. It's a lot more than just that. But I'm gonna have another video on that as well. Subscribe, like the video if you found any of the information usable, or you just found it interesting and you would possibly share this with someone else. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to put those wants and those needs in the comments. And until next time, guys,